Prasad there.
They'll have a nice view.
Yeah, they'll have a nice view.
We'll get water there. Water.
Water will be there. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om, the old book. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. This to be given to David. Wait till that. We were reading chapter 11. We start again with paragraph. So far, Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. So far, the Lord leads the earnest aspirant from the earlier steps of sadhana for the purification of the mind, culminating in the knowledge of the Atman towards the highest devotion, and grants him the most exalted vision of the Lord as the countless manifestations in the universe. Till the 11th chapter, including the 10th chapter, the Lord was explaining his own Swarupa in different ways. His manifestation as well as his impersonal aspect. Now he has prepared the aspirant or Arjuna to receive the highest experience, thus giving him the universal vision. Work, knowledge and devotion mingling together produces this grand universal vision. We cannot say that by following one path alone we can reach this universal vision. We have to combine work, knowledge and devotion. They must all work together harmoniously. Then only we can reach the highest realization. In this vision, the devotee experiences a joy and an ecstasy which is incomparable and inexpressible. The experience brings such no words can describe. They can only experience it for themselves. They cannot explain to others what this experience is. He loses himself in the supernal existence so much so that he beholds at once God both as manifest and unmanifest. His experience is both unmanifest and manifest aspects of God are realized together, are experienced together. In the ignorant state, one sees only the manifest aspect and has no idea about the unmanifest aspect, which is a substratum for the manifestation. He has no idea of it, so he does not think about it at all. But by experience, by sadhana, and by the gradual purification of the mind, he is able to feel and experience that there is something behind his manifestation. The power that gives strength to his manifestation is the all-pervading, the unifying reality. So he experiences both these together. That gives him absolute peace and bliss. His individuality, due to the identification with the body, disappears, and by a sudden transformation, the world stands revealed to him as the very form and expression of the Lord. He has lost his individuality. He was considering himself as the body, and now that is gone when he has realized that he is not the body but the Atman, and that Atman is one with the all-pervading Paramatman. Having got this realization, he has no more sense of individuality. And now this sudden transformation, by this sudden transformation, he sees the entire world as the expression of God Himself. First he realizes that he is one with the Paramatman. I am the all-pervading reality. Then, after some more sadhana, he experiences that the entire universe is a manifestation of his own self, or putting in other words, manifestation of the Lord Himself. In either case it is same, though differently expressed. That is experience he gets after realization. Now the devotee is no longer as such different from his most beloved Lord, but becomes one with Him in entirety. Till then he was looking upon the Lord as some power different from him. Now having got this experience, he knows he is no longer different from him. He is ever one with Him. He was ever one with Him, and he will be ever one with Him. Not only in one aspect, but in all aspects. Not only in the impersonal aspect, but in the manifested aspect also. That's what I was explaining the other day. He is able to say, my body is the entire universe. Everything in the body is my own body. All the names and forms are parts of my own body. That is his experience. This sudden transcendence brings about an almost shocking experience to the devotee who had so far loved and adored the Lord in his personal aspect as an avatar. Arjuna was looking upon Krishna as his friend, as his cousin, and so on and so forth. He had sometimes felt that he was also God Himself come in that form, though that attitude towards Krishna was not permanent. Though now the sudden transformation, that Krishna, whom he looked upon as his friend and now as his charioteer, suddenly shows himself as the entire universe and beyond it, and he himself is in that form of the Lord. This sudden transformation naturally shakes Arjuna. So this new experience frightens him. The new vision dazes and dazzles him. This was so sudden that he is not able to stand the shock, bear the shock. The resultant outcome of the ineffable rapture and joy becomes too vast and too irresistible to be contained and held by him. This was too much for him to bear. Even when one is filled with too much joy, he cannot stand it. The floods of that bliss absorb him. The devotee does not wish to remain in this lofty consciousness for long. It is so powerful, it is so blissful that he does not, or he is not strong enough to remain in that state too long. That is a great irony. We jump into something which we have been craving for, but when we have it, we are not able to stand it. We want to come back to our original position. The devotee does not wish to remain in this lofty consciousness for long, because the helplessness of his state in that vision and the losing of a beautiful and sublime ideal loved and worshipped as divine personality urges him to dwell again in the consciousness of a devotee by the assumption of a separate and immortal status of a spiritual entity, of a servant, child, or any other near and dear relation of his beloved Lord. He enjoyed the company of the Lord, whom we looked upon though the new experience was many times more blissful than the relationship he had with Lord Krishna. But it was so strong and so forcible that he wanted to come back again and have the old relationship as his relation, as the avatar, as Lord Krishna himself in that human form. That's why Arjuna prayed to the Lord to show himself again in the human form with his four arms and the avataric form, they call it. The relationship between Arjuna and Krishna in that form was more appealing to him than the one which the universal vision gave him. In this supreme condition, the devotee, feeling and realizing his utter oneness with the Lord, still plays at being different from him. Now, though Papa talking about not only Arjuna, but all the devotees in general. Who get this universal vision, even after having this vision and experiencing the supreme bliss and peace as a result of that vision, feel that they should maintain a sense of separation from the Lord, looking upon the Lord as a master, mother, and themselves as servant and child. That is sweeter for them, but it is not same as the experience they had before. Before the universal vision, they felt the separation from the Lord and had not realized their oneness with the Lord. But the new experience will be, though there is separation as a child and mother and master and servant, this relationship, though separated, is after experiencing the oneness with the Lord. So the oneness is maintained. At the same time, the separation is also felt for the sake of the play. The separation is only a very subtle sense of separation. This is not separation as the ignorant man feels from God. The separation is so subtle that it is based actually on the realization of the devotee's oneness with God. This is the experience our beloved Papa had with God. After realization of his oneness with Him, he maintained the attitude of a child towards his mother, or das, servant towards the master. That appealed to him, and he continued to be in that state till he dropped his body. Now commences the true Karma Yoga. Only after reaching this state, the real Karma Yoga begins. The karma did during the sadhana days was for attaining the goal. Now the Karma Yoga done by the devotee after realizing his oneness with God and maintaining a sense of separation from Him is much different. This is karma done in a state of yoga. The other one was karma to attain a state of yoga. That is the main difference. The devotee who has thus reached the highest step of God realization works in the world as God Himself for Loka Sangraha, or welfare of humanity. That is the difference. Till then, it was the devotee doing karma for attaining yoga with the Lord. Now the karma done after realization is after his becoming a vehicle or instrument of God. Karma done by God Himself through him. That is karma done in a state of yoga. Previous one was karma done to attain the state of yoga. This is karma done in a state of yoga. After granting this universal vision to Arjuna, the Lord says that such a vision is the hardest thing to attain. It is not given to everyone. It is not a wholesale business. Very rarely devotees can attain this vision. Really blessed are those who are chosen by the Lord to get this vision. The supreme devotion that ought to follow self-realization does not come to those who worship the Lord and reach Him in His formless and eternal aspect. Here again, the supreme devotion that ought to follow self-realization. The supreme devotion that follows self-realization, that is the state of parabhakti, highest sort of devotion. Having realized that everything is God, still you love God in His innumerable forms, as a state of parabhakti. This type of bhakti is not possible for those who worship the Lord and reach Him in His formless and eternal aspect. Many sadhakas worship the Lord in His formless aspect only, that is, impersonal aspect only. They don't care for the manifestation at all. They consider the manifestation as a dream or non-existent. They don't give any importance to the manifestation. They are concerned only with the impersonal aspect of the Lord. They want only Parabrahman without any name and form. So those who worship that aspect of the divine cannot have the joy of parabhakti, because they stop with their experience of the Paramatman, that is impersonal aspect of God, and they don't even mingle with the world after getting that experience. It means they may remain in a state of samadhi for days and days together without even coming to the world for any service or to any service to the humanity, because they don't consider the humanity as existent at all. Then where is the question of service to the humanity? Only when they accept that there is humanity and they need service, they can come down and serve. In this case, they don't accept the manifestation as existing at all. So they like to remain in the state absorbed in Paramatman or Parabrahman until they drop their body. The supreme devotion that ought to follow self-realization does not come to those who worship the Lord and reach Him in His formless and eternal aspect only. Therefore, the Lord declares that only a single-minded devotee is entitled to this divine vision. A single-minded devotee who is worshipping the Lord and prays for the realization of Him in His all aspects alone will get this vision. This great vision can never be obtained by reading the scriptures, nor by rigorous sadhana, nor by philanthropic acts, nor by sacrifices. There is no shortcut for getting this experience. Rich people may think that by giving charity very generously, they can get this vision. No. They cannot get by philanthropic acts, nor by sacrifices. They do so many homas, rituals they do for getting this vision. No, by all those they cannot get this vision. Only by one pointed devotion. Supreme sacrifice, in the sense that renouncing everything in the world, and it is desiring only for the vision of the Lord. That is one pointed devotion. Will take the devotee to the supreme heights. Pure devotion alone makes the yogi attain Him through knowledge and then merge himself into Him as the comprehensive and all-inclusive Godhead. Pure devotion alone makes the yogi attain Him through knowledge. First of all, knowledge is necessary, then devotion should follow. So both should lead him together to the realization of God in both these aspects, impersonal and personal. Again, the necessary purification through actions done for the sake of the Lord, freedom from attachment and hatred towards anybody, or things are pointed out as essential for approaching the Lord and being blessed with the supreme vision. Again, the necessary purification through action done for the sake of the Lord, freedom from attachment and hatred towards anybody. What is that? Or thing are pointed out as essential. Is it the same thing? Then some mistake is there in the last line.
That's Swamiji. It's English. Freedom from attachment and hatred towards anybody or thing.
Or anybody or thing.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. Freedom from attachment for anybody or thing are pointed out as essential for approaching the Lord and being blessed with the supreme vision. What are the conditions to attain that vision? necessary purification through actions. By karma yoga, the mind must be perfectly purified. Freedom from attachment or hatred towards anybody or thing. No attachment to anything in the world. These are the two conditions that are necessary to reach this highest vision. Om Sri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Give the other book, small book, Gita book. Chapter 12. Chapter 12. Now we go to next chapter. We read the slokas today. Now read the meaning of the slokas today, and tomorrow Bhagavad Papa's commentary. This is the yoga of devotion. As Arjuna has seen the universal form of the Lord wants him to take further and give him parabhakti. So this chapter deals with the highest form of devotion and the signs of a devotee who is in that state. Arjuna said, after seeing the universal vision, universal form of the Lord, Arjuna said, those devotees who ever steadfast worship you thus, and those again who worship the imperishable, the unmanifest, which of these are better versed in yoga? Arjuna wanted to know whether the devotees should worship the avataric form of the Lord or the imperishable and unmanifest aspect of God. Which is better? This is always the question among the devotees. When one is devoted to God, it is common to get a question from others. Are you worshipping the impersonal or personal aspect of God? In other words, are you worshipping the Saguna or Nirguna aspect of God? Saguna means with attributes, and Nirguna means without attributes. This question is often asked, and clarification we get from this chapter. Let us see what this commentator here says. At the conclusion of chapter 11, the adoration of the Supreme was advocated, but Brahman is both with and without attributes. Of these two aspects of his, which is better suited for worship? This is the point raised herein for clarification by Arjuna. Now to this the Lord replied, those who have fixed their minds in me and who ever steadfast and endowed with supreme Shraddha worship me, them do I consider perfect in yoga. Those who have fixed their minds on me And who ever steadfast and endowed with supreme Shraddha worship me, them do I consider perfect in yoga. Here he says, endowed with, fixed their minds on me. Here he means his personal aspect. Lord says here, those who worship me with Shraddha means perfect. Shraddha has such a meaning. They cannot find the correct word in English. They say faith. Then they are considered perfect in yoga, according to Lord Krishna. The Lord is having the cosmos for his physical body. He is Parameshwara, Saguna Brahman. That means God with attributes. He rules, remaining immanent in the universe. He rules. He has become the entire universe, different names and forms, and he is immanent in each form. He is the Lord of the yogis, the omniscient. His devotees are they who have dedicated themselves to his worship. They are free from attachment, aversion, and angularities. Thought of the Lord alone dominates their hearts day and night. They live for service of the Lord. They are therefore perfect yogis. Sri Ramakrishna says in this connection, it is quite all right to meditate on God, viewing him as formless. But do not entertain the thought that only your own conception of God is correct and that the beliefs of the others are erroneous. To meditate on him as with form is also a method. You persevere staunchly in your path until you reach the realization of God. After that, you will come to know that all paths lead to the same goal. Actually, there is no conflict in that. You can worship in any way and reach to the same goal. Now let us see what the Lord himself says. Here he said, those who have fixed their minds on me. That me can refer to Saguna or Nirguna. When the Lord says me, it can be both ways, my form and formless aspects. And ever steadfast and endowed with supreme Shraddha worship me, them do I consider perfect in yoga. So he can mean both. But here he makes it clear. But those who worship the imperishable, the indefinable, the unmanifest, the omnipresent, the unthinkable, the unchangeable, the immovable, the eternal. Those who are worshipping the nameless, formless aspect of God, and to worship that way, it needs having restrained all the senses, even-minded everywhere, engaged in the welfare of all beings. Verily, they also come unto me. They also come unto me. Now, see the difficulty or see the difference in the two paths. One appears to be simple. You have to give all your love and devotion to God. When you are looking upon Him as a particular form, as an avataric form, as Lord Krishna in his beautiful avataric form, or any other God in his avataric form, or your own Guru in his physical form. At the same time, maintaining, not forgetting that that form is only a symbol of his universal and infinite existence. But our worship is towards the form. Others are worshipping the impersonal aspect only. But to worship that impersonal aspect is more strenuous because it needs a lot of control in everything. That's what he says. You have to control all the senses. You must become even-minded. You must engage yourself in the welfare of all beings. All these restrictions are necessary for the impersonal worship. So it is hard to reach the goal that way, though both the paths lead to the same goal. So the preference is given to the Saguna worship here. Again he says, greater is their difficulty whose minds are set on the unmanifested, for the goal of the unmanifested is very hard for the embodied to reach, to even think of the unmanifest, because he is unthinkable, unimaginable. He can be thought of only by negating, that is, not this, not this, not this. Then when you reach, actually, you don't know where exactly to reach. You cannot define that. So that is considered very difficult to meditate upon. Greater is the difficulty whose mind is set on the unmanifested, for the goal of the unmanifested is very hard for the embodied to reach. The commentator says here, though the goal is the same, the worship of God without form is very difficult for the sadhaka soaked in body consciousness. It is very difficult because we are attached to the body so much that it is very difficult to go beyond the body idea. Think of anything that is beyond all names and forms, beyond every manifestation. That is extremely hard. As he thinks of himself with form, he cannot help thinking of his God also as with form. The devotee has a form as a human, so his God also must have a form. It is easy to give his God a form and worship him than to worship that which is nameless and formless. The worship of Saguna Brahman is easy. He who adores Nirguna Brahman has to be free from body feeling right from the beginning. He who adores Nirguna Brahman has to be free from body feeling right from the beginning. There may be great souls who could, from their early days, feel that they are not the body but the spirit, above body consciousness. If that is the case, it may be easy for them to adore the unmanifest aspect of God. But for an ordinary person who is body conscious, it is better to take the Saguna type of worship. But the attainment of that state is not possible for all. The spiritually advanced soul alone rises to that level. The easy and natural course for the ordinary sadhaka is to proceed with the worship of God with form. That is the safest way of worship. But those who worship me, renouncing all actions in me, regarding me as a supreme goal, meditate on me with single-minded yoga. Now he proceeds. But those who worship me, renouncing all actions, they renounce all other actions. Regarding me as a supreme goal, they consider as the attainment of God alone as their goal in life. Meditating on me with single-minded yoga. Day and night they sit in meditation of the Lord. For those whose thought is set on me, I become very soon the deliverer from the ocean of the mortal samsara. Such souls are freed by me from this ocean of samsara. That is, I give him the realization of my oneness with my eternal being and existence. Therefore, fix your mind on me alone. Let your thoughts dwell in me. You will hereafter live in me alone. Of this there is no doubt. So he asks Arjuna, fix your mind on me alone. Let your thoughts dwell in me. You will hereafter live in me alone. Of this there is no doubt. This was advice for a sadhaka. It is easy to say, constantly think of me, constantly meditate on me, make me as your supreme goal. But for him to put into practice is very difficult because the pull of the lower nature is so strong that he is always not in a position to maintain his God thought constantly. So the Lord gives him an alternative. If you are not able to fix your mind steadily on me, then seek to reach me by Abhyasa Yoga. He gives him an alternative. If you are not able to keep your mind fixed on me steadily, then practice Abhyasa Yoga. Let us see what Abhyasa Yoga is. The Lord, when instructing others, also knows the limitations of the human beings. So mercifully, he gives an alternative. Here the commentator says, staunch is that devotion of the sadhaka which does not deviate from the Lord. Wavering is that devotion which oscillates between God and the world. Staunch is that devotion of the sadhaka which does not deviate from the Lord. One-pointed devotion. We can call him a staunch devotee. He does not turn this way or that way. Nothing in the world attracts him. The lower nature cannot pull him down. His aspiration to reach the goal is so strong that he walks straight, walks fast, or rather runs to reach the goal. Whereas wavering is that devotion which oscillates between God and the world. Another type of devotee, he wants God, but at the same time he wants the worldly enjoyments also. There was one devotee here who was closely mixing with the ashram activities. One day asked Papa, she wanted realization immediately. Papa said, are you ready for it? Yes, Papa, I am ready. Papa said, asked her, are you prepared to give up everything that you have? All the properties, all the connection with your relations. Can you cut them off immediately? She started thinking deeply. And she said plainly, frankly, Papa, I want everything. And I want also God. That is what we also want. We want to enjoy everything in the world. We want God also. Here we want God also so that we may enjoy everything better. But we forget that by giving up everything, by getting God, we get much more than what we had before. That secret nobody knows. When we have God, we have everything, because God is everything. We only want God. That secret is not known to devotees perhaps. So they cling on to the worldly things and talk about God. I want God also, I want God also. So that devotion is called wavering devotion. You want also God in the midst of all worldly things. So wavering is that devotion which oscillates between God and the world. Through constant practice, the mind has to be weaned away from the world. It is Abhyasa Yoga. We talk about Abhyasa Yoga. The Lord gave an alternative. If you cannot always meditate on me, keep your mind centered on me, I shall give you the alternative practice, Abhyasa Yoga. Here the Abhyasa Yoga is try to wean away the mind from the worldly things gradually, making it understand the futility of running after worldly pleasures which are only transitory, whereas running after the experience of God will be a permanent experience which gives eternal peace and happiness. Make the mind understand and gradually take it away from worldly thoughts. That is Abhyasa Yoga, which is practiced ceaselessly until the mind is permanently reclaimed from baseness.